Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Barbara and today we have the last Orilium vlog. So today is actually April 25th. It is Tuesday evening, yes. I just finished my sprints. It is now almost midnight and yeah, I don't know, I didn't have the energy to start the vlog yesterday, but today I did finish New Moon. This was for Orilium for the prompt Elemental Studies, which the prompt was flowers on the cover. We have a flower on the cover, and yeah, love this. This is probably my favorite book in the series. Might be one of them, definitely. And yet again, it worked for me perfectly. I just love the description of the angst and the hurt, and yeah, I love this book. I know there are some issues. I've seen them now rereading it again, and definitely, I definitely now am a little bit more Team Jacob than Edward than I used to be. But I still Team Edward, obviously. But I now see more of the issues with Edward that people talk about. But anyway, great. I think this would be... I'm gonna leave the rating on Goodreads. It was 5 stars. This is not a 5-star read, I don't think so. But, you know, I'm not gonna change it for worse. For the Neveremore-athon, I don't know which prompts to count for this. There are 6 prompts that this could count for. This could fulfill. But I don't know what other books will be able to fulfill in the board. And so I want to wait until I finish all the books I can read in this week and see what prompts I can get, so I can get a bingo. So I'm not gonna tell you yet what prompts this will get, what I'll count this for. So this I'll do at the end of the vlog. But yeah, finish this one. That means that potentially I finished my Well from Droid calling, because I think I will shuffle it around. So I will count the Book of Tea for astronomy and We Fly Beneath the Stars for animal studies. I think we'll do that. And that means that this was my last book for Wild from Droid. And that means that there is only one book left in the readathon that I need to read for Orilium. And that is Woven in Moonlight by Isabel Ibanez, which is for book with a map. So the class is lore, right? I have the bookmark, lore. The prompt is book with a map. And we have a little sketch. There is a little map. So it works. I think it works. And so I started reading that today, and I'm now on page 67. So quite some progress. Not too bad, but yeah, I think it's fine. And that means that the last book I was supposed to read for Orilium was Still Watchers, but I will not attempt to read all of it in this month, so this week. I will start it for sure, that's the plan. Absolutely want to start it, maybe read about half, and then second half I can finish in the next month. The point is that the book is set on the island where we are going at the end of this week. So that's why I want to read it, and that's why I also don't feel like I need to finish it before we go, because it will be cool to read it there. But we are going Sunday to Monday, which is 30th April to 1st of May, so that wouldn't work with the readathon. Anyway, yesterday I was kind of lost because I wanted to listen to Still Watchers on audiobook. I have audiobook of it, but I didn't like the audiobook. I couldn't. So I was like, I'm just not gonna listen to the audiobook because it will make me not like the book. So I decided not to listen to that audiobook, and I was trying to find a different audiobook I knew I didn't have this on Scribd or Storytel, and so I was trying to find another book and I just couldn't. So then I started Wet Hot Allosaurus Summer. This has been mentioned earlier in the readathon. I'm not sure I talked to you about it in the vlogs. Maybe I did at some point. But this was talked about in one of the sprints about like dinosaur erotica. And so I got it from NetGalley. It is like 2-hour audiobook, and I thought I could listen to it and get like points for it for the readathon, for Neveremore-athon. So that's what I started yesterday. And I listened to it like 20% of it. And so far, what the hell am I listening to? But it was also requested that I vlog the experience. So I need to find out how to do that, because I have the book in my phone. So I need to find out how, and I vlog on my phone. So I need to find out if I can do that or how to do that. But I will try to vlog while listening to that book, because that's gonna be some priceless faces, I'm sure. But I started listening to that one, so I'm gonna continue listening to that when I do some things. I'm not sure, like dishes, because then I can't vlog. We'll see. Because then today also I found the audiobook for this, because after first chapter I wasn't really convinced that I like this all that much. I thought that the audiobook would help, so I got the audiobook on Audible, and that helped a lot, because then I read 50 pages and like really quickly. So it definitely does help. So now I have an audiobook to listen to. So we'll see how we all organize it with the Dinosmat. Hi, it's now Thursday evening. What is it? April 20? I don't even know. 7? Probably. It is 9 p.m. It's now last sprint of Cleo's sprints, Thursday sprints. And I just remembered that I'm supposed to vlog. I completely forgot about the vlog because I'm not doing well. I am super stressed about work, because we have delivery and there is another delivery for like projects deliveries, and I'm like so stressed. Like I can't even. So I'm not doing very well. I'm not reading much. I am working overtime and just overall very low mood. But I just remembered that I'm supposed to vlog and I'm supposed to update you. So that's what I'm gonna do now. Yesterday I did listen a little bit to the Wet Hot Allosaurus Summer. I didn't figure out how to film it, like vlog it while listening to it, because I found that the only way I can listen to it is on my phone, and that's also the most practical way to film a vlog. So I can't do both at the same time, unfortunately. So I'm just gonna tell you what I think. So far I'm like 30% in, and man, is it awful. Like I don't know what I expected. I didn't expect to like it, but I expected to at least be entertained. But it's just extremely cringy. I'm like, are you serious? Like, no. It's horrible. Anyway, the other thing I'm reading is Woven in Moonlight. I am currently this far in. It is 130 pages. So that is like 1/3 maybe. So far I'm not enjoying it very much. Like, it reads very YA. I don't think the main character is like young adult, a teenager, but it reads extremely YA. And not that it's not what I expected, I just didn't expect it to be an adult in the main character acting as a teenager. It's just weird. And yeah, so far the best thing about the book is the cover. But I'm still, having fun. It's all right. And I am having fun, especially. I don't know if I told you what it's about, did I? It is based on Bolivian culture and politics. So basically, we start with the main character called Chimera, I think. And she is a decoy for the actual queen, because they are very similar, they are the same in age, they look similar. So she is her decoy. So everybody thinks that she is the queen, while the queen is pretending to be her maid or her friend, I would say. And I still don't know why. I think it's just to keep the actual queen safer. But she can't do really the queen things. And I don't know, it just feels really strange. It talks about their city and their people who really struggle with like food and supplies and everything, because there is some kind of war. I'm really confused. Like, I really don't know what's happening, actually, and why. And it's called Woven in Moonlight because the main character, she can weave a tapestry and she can use moon rays to weave, to use it as threads in her tapestries. And then only her people can read it, so she can send secret messages, which is pretty cool. But, and yeah, it's just very interesting. And then there is this evil king who is cutting them off from all the food, and who killed all their people and shunned them from the city that they lived in. And it has very strong political background. One of the people, the main character, is inspired by Bolivians, and then the evil king is basically the first indigenous president that Bolivia has ever had. And yeah, his people are the indigenous people of Bolivia. And it is just so weird to read how they hate each other and how they both think how the other one is evil. And it just feels like a very interesting choice to write a book like this in today's politically charged society, where you're not supposed to say a single negative word against another person who is a different race than you. It feels interesting that this book has been released, or that the author chose this book to write when it's those two people like really hating each other and painting out the indigenous people in Bolivia as the bad people. So we'll see how that goes. And I also don't know about Bolivian history, so I'm not gonna say anything about that. Like, I honestly don't know. I did some research and I didn't dig too deep, so it is quite questionable, to be honest. But yeah, we'll see. So I'm gonna go read this and try to relax, because I actually been working today until 9 p.m. It is now 9:30. So time to just sit back and read a bit. So that's what I'm gonna do. Hello, it is now much later and I'm here to wrap up the vlog. It is now actually May 8th, so it's been over a week since I last talked to you. Actually exactly a week since I filmed like the last b-roll and since the readathons ended. So let me talk to you about how everything went. So first of all, we went to Sandham and I showed you some b-roll. While on Sandham I was reading Still Watchers by Weeek. It is Swedish author set on Sandham. It is first book in Sandham murders. And I started reading this on Sunday before we went there and finished reading it a couple days ago, I think like 2 days ago. So I didn't finish it on Sandham, but I was reading it while there a little bit and it was fun. It was really interesting to be reading about it, and like I was reading some part about it and how they were getting to the island, and I was like, I know exactly what they're talking about. That's where we were yesterday, or like just earlier this day. It was so much fun. But the book itself, I mean, I didn't finish it within the readathons or in the month, so this didn't count towards any readathons, but I still want to say that I gave this 2 stars. It was not good. I did not enjoy it. Yeah, this is basically a murder mystery story where one day a dead body turns up on a shore of Sandham, of the island in Stockholm Archipelago. And they're trying to figure out what happened. It looks like he drowned, but maybe he didn't. We don't know. What I've been thinking about is that if police in Stockholm works the way it was written here, I am scared. Like, it was really bad. Yeah, also translation played role, because some of the things I know were certainly 100% not written like that in Swedish. It was very Americanized, and I just feel like if I want to read a book from that country by that author, I kind of want to read it for the culture as well. But this kind of escaped the point of the Swedish culture that they were trying to point here. Like, and I could tell that this is exactly the description of Swedish culture in workplace in Sweden. Yes, but the way it was written, like, you wouldn't get it, you know, like you wouldn't get it. So that was a little bit like, I want the translation to grasp the culture of the book or of the place where this is, right? So that was one thing. Another thing is, it's basically 2 stories. The 2 stories really don't have that much to do with each other. They could have been 2 separate books and worked by a different person, because the stories were not too bad, but it just was not done well, and they were mixed here, didn't make sense. It was weird. And then there is this woman who has children. They live on Sandham, or at least during the summer they live on Sandham, on the island. She has a huge fight with the husband. Husband leaves for a 24-hour sail race. So he goes out of the house, and the only people left in the house is the woman and the 2 children, boys 10 years old and 8 years old, I think. And at some point she goes, and she's depressed because they had this huge fight. And she goes, and basically what it says is she goes to check on the boys if they are sleeping. They were sleeping. So she wanted to also go to sleep, but she was so depressed. She took the younger one, brought him to her bed, undressed slowly, lied in bed next to him, close to him, to his heat. And when she started crying, she put a hand on his belly, which was rising with his breathing. And that made me so uncomfortable. The way that was described was so uncomfortable. If you imagine it was the other way around, like a guy doing this with his daughter, 8-year-old daughter, and this would be the paragraph, wouldn't sound good. Didn't sound good here either. I don't know. It was just tone deaf. Seriously, like, no. And another thing, the audiobook was awful. I didn't like the audiobook. And the pronunciation of the names, not even close. Nada. So, didn't enjoy it. Will not continue with the series. Maybe I'll watch the TV show. Maybe the TV show is good. But this was not. Anyway, that was a lot of talk about a book that didn't even belong to the readathon. I read Wet Hot Allosaurus Summer because I was tempted by other people talking about it. I got it on NetGalley as an ARC. It is about 2 hours long. It's like 60 pages. It is basically dinosaur erotica. Horrible. 1% disgusting. Bad. Do not read it. Ridiculous. No. There is some things that I'm like, I can, close my eyes and be like, yeah, just let it slide, okay. But then there is this one scene, spoilers, I will write until when. There is one scene when, she is with the dinosaur, right? And he is hungry and he needs blood. And you know what? She's on her period. And he's like, well, I don't mind. And she's like, well, I know you love blood, so if you wanna do stuff, it's okay. So she's on her period, and the dinosaur goes down on her and licks her dry. Over the line? No, disgusting, no. Horrible. Do not recommend. I will not read the rest of them because I was laughing at the titles like later on and I was kind of curious like what's that gonna be, but no, don't do it, no. But I did like in the end actually there was a bit of a touch on slaughterhouse workers. So there was kind of like they kind of had a presentation about how the slaughterhouse workers should be replaced by dinosaurs because dinosaurs are not bothered by killing cows, but the slaughterhouse workers as people, humans, who work in slaughterhouse and kill animals, do tend to have in proportionate numbers of anxiety, depression, post-traumatic stress disorder, especially post-traumatic stress disorder. It is very close to veterans in war. It's really bad for people, and that's truth. That's the truth that is actually happening. People who work in a slaughterhouse do tend to be more violent statistically than any other people, and they do have post-traumatic stress disorder because killing animals like at the rate that they do, it's different if you kill one animal a week or one animal in a month for people who are live on a village on a farm and kill animals when they need to. But this was like a slaughterhouse place where the people kill hundreds of animals every single day, and that takes toll on people's mind, even though they think it's just animals, but it's proven, it takes toll on people's mind. And so that was touched upon and that was mentioned in the book, so that I kind of appreciated. I was like, not bad. Like the solution was that the dinosaurs will work instead in the slaughterhouses. I'm like, all right, why not? But so not a good book. Do not recommend. Oh yeah, and that one, I didn't make it to count anything for the Orilium, but I did make it count for the Neveremore-athon. For Neveremore-athon, it counted for ARC, so I got it from NetGalley as an ARC. It counted for Book in the Future because it was the dinosaurs were genetically created from whatever it was. I don't know, it was definitely in the future where the dinosaurs were created again and they had this kind of chips through which they were able to communicate with people. So definitely set in the future. And adult main character. The main character, the woman, was like 18, 20, technically adult. So that counted. And that completed one bingo because for New Moon, I don't think I actually told you because I wrapped this up after I finished all the books. For New Moon, the prompts I chose book with visions, favorite author, and gentle book. And so then I got the bottom line on bottom bingo with Wet Hot Allosaurus Summer. And the last book I read was Woven in Moonlight by Isabel Ibanez. This was for both Neveremore-athon and last book of Orilium. For Orilium, it was for lore, where the prompt was book with a map. And for Neveremore-athon, it also fulfilled 3 prompts and therefore 2 additional bingos. I will talk about it later. Woven in Moonlight, YA fantasy based on or inspired by Bolivian culture and politics. It is very clear who this was inspired by, and that's why this is controversial, because I talked to you about this. The main guy, the bad guy in here, is inspired by the president in Bolivia, the first indigenous president of Bolivia. And here he is portrayed as a bad guy. And basically our main character is pretending to be the queen of the other Bolivians, not indigenous Bolivians, but the other group, like the other Bolivians, basically the descendants of colonizers, descendants of Spanish people. So this obviously in today's age is going to tickle a string for some people, definitely, because it definitely kind of, especially from the start, it portrays the Spanish Bolivians as the good guys and the indigenous people as the bad guys. However, this book kind of explores the entire thing, and the indigenous president was not all good. He did great things for his indigenous people, but he did also bad things for Bolivia and for people as a whole in Bolivia. So definitely not a saint. I think it was very courageous of this author to write this book, but we have the main character who in the beginning hates the indigenous people and has all these kind of preconceptions and stereotypes. But she learns that they're also just people, and they're all good people, and they care about other people, and they're not enemies. They're just, trying to do their best. And sometimes there is an evil guy who is going to ruin everything for everybody. And so there is quite some character arc in this one. The character definitely doesn't stick to her opinions from the start. So I didn't have problems with this one when it comes to the portrayal of Spanish Bolivians and the indigenous Bolivians, because just the way it was done, I think it worked. Again, I do not have the Bolivian history studied. I don't know much about it, so I can't really say how good the representation it is. I don't think it's supposed to be accurate representation either. It's a fiction, only a fiction, fantasy inspired by it, so I don't think it necessarily needs to be super accurate either. But yeah, I think this was pretty good. I enjoyed it. It read very, very YA. Some of the things, it was very repetitive. The character didn't connect the dots that were completely obvious. So there were some things I didn't like about it, but overall it was a fun story. So if you would like, I would definitely recommend to go for it, give it a try. It's not a bad book by all means. So I read this one, I gave it 3 stars, and this completed my Beastmaster calling. So I completed 2 callings. I'm beyond excited that I managed to do that. And then for Neveremore-athon, it fulfilled Book with Sisterhood, because there were the main character had an amazing relationship with this one person who was a woman, they were kind of like sisters, and then with this other one as well. And they created really these very close bonds. So I definitely counted for Sisterhood. Book with Love, definitely Book with Love, because there is some romance in here as well, alongside Sisterhood. And then Book with Ancestors, absolutely. It's talked about a lot about the ancestors and how one people ruined this, other people ruined that, the whole story. So those are the 3 prompts, and it completed basically 2 bingos. It completed the cross and 1 vertical. So total of Neveremore-athon, I got 2,500 points, which is not too bad. I'm pretty happy with that. And my team, Doves, ended up in a 3rd place, which is amazing if you ask me. I am very excited about that. The winners were Stoners, led by Caitlin from Bendy's Books. She crushed it. She read, 44 books? Insane. But to say my statistics, in the last week I read 717 pages, which is not bad at all. In 7 days, that's really good. That would turn as in the whole month, including all the books that I read that month, even the ones that didn't qualify for Orilium or Still Watchers that I started but didn't count for any of the readathons. Overall, I read 3,569 pages, which is not bad at all. That's my best reading month so far this year. I read total of 13 books, which is insane. I'm so proud of myself for reading that much. That's insane. I don't know how I managed that. but also at the expense of the vlogs not coming out on time. So at this date, May 8th, only the first vlog came out so far. There are still 4 vlogs, including this one, to come out. So those will still come out. I will not give up on them. I have it all filmed. They are just not edited. So I need to do that. But they will come out. I hope you will guys still enjoy them, hopefully. Maybe some Orilium magic after the fact, you know, we'll see. But yeah, that's it. That's pretty much all that I wanted to say. I did pretty good. I completed 2 callings. I completed the Beastmaster and the Wild Form Druid. We ended up in a 3rd spot in the Neveremore-athon. And I read some great books. I got some 5 stars. I got some 1 stars. It was a wild ride and I'm really happy about it. So that's it for the Orilium / Neveremore-athon vlogs. To sum up, to just mention what my favorite book of the month is definitely The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet by Becky Chambers. I had it from library, so I don't have it physically with me. I already returned it, but that was a 5-star. I absolutely love that book and I can't wait to continue with that series. So that was definitely my highlight of the month when it comes to the books I read. And yeah, that's it for this vlog and for this edition of Orilium readathon and for Neveremore-athon. Thank you very much for watching and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!